Well, hello. We're going to have a lot of fun today. This is going to be a painting of these little daisies in a mason jar with the light coming across. A lot of fun. So I want to start with some burnt umber. And I have this little paper plate because this is going to get pretty messy and I just want to be able to discard it and have a clean palette for the rest of the painting. So burnt umber and Prussian blue. Now this makes a very deep, dark color. Almost black. So I'm going to mix these together. This palette knife. Like that. And then going to add quite a bit of paint thinner with a big brush just to this plate here. Quite a bit. Now this paint thinner really kind of helps this dry out quicker. And so I can paint more oily paint on top of it. It's the thin to thick method. And today this is the alla prima method of painting with oil paints. Many master oil painters used lots of layers and lots of days, months even. But we're gonna just do this in a few hours. We're gonna have fun. It's a great way to start painting. The alla prima method. Sounds complicated and fancy. It's just a French word that means in one go. So we're gonna take this dark, pretty much the consistency of ink. We're gonna just start at the top and just go over this whole painting here. I want to add more paint thinner. And I'm tilting my brush up because I don't want this to drip all over my hands. All right, just let it really get all over it. Cover the whole thing. See, the background of this painting is going to be very dark. I want this painting to be dynamic. These white daisies are really going to pop against this dark background. So if we cover the whole canvas dark, our job for the rest of the time will be a lot easier. Because the canvas is going to show through. Some of this, here and there, is going to show through. All right, got that whole thing covered. Now, we're going to wipe off the excess. There, see that? Staining the canvas, just a little darker of a color. Very good. Wiping off the excess paint. There we go. Now we can get started. That's exciting. All around the canvas, the edges of it. It's gonna look great. Okay. Really want to dry it out. We don't want too much pigment. Take it off, you know? Remove that pigment. We definitely don't want any of this oil left. So if we just go like this, we can remove the majority of it and paint right over it. There. I'm going to throw away this paper towel and get a new one. See how it's totally different. It's dark now. Okay, so we can kind of discard these for now. And we have so many fun colors to use today. First, titanium white and burnt umber. That helps us get our values right, lighter and darker. Then we have cad red and Prussian blue and sap green. Got some yellow here, not very much, just a little bit. And yellow ochre and some purple, maybe, probably. I like my purple. So we're going to just make these daisies pop. That's our goal. It needs to just kind of jump out at you. You need to feel the light. And if I can accomplish that, then I'll be happy. So let's start putting this color onto this palette. All right. Now, I don't put it down in any particular order. I don't really care. It's different every time. I don't like to have a system per se. But we got the white, burnt umber. We're going to need a lot of those too. Let's put down Prussian next. Ooh, beautiful deep blue. My favorite blue color to use. Next, we'll do some sap green. We don't need very much, just a little bit. And yellow ochre, of course. Yellow ochre is one of my favorite colors. And Put down the red on the side here. Red tones down colors, helps tone down green, and it's very helpful. And then yellow, we're going to use that. Some of the highlights, bright spots. So now we can get started. First, I want to make this background very dark. So let's mix up a very dark color. We're going to use Prussian blue and burnt umber. We're going to mix these together. Very dark. Very good. Now we're going to add a little bit of paint thinner. Not too much, just a touch. Thin it down. There we go. A little bit more. Just mix those two together right here with the palette knife. Now I'm going to grab a brush. Let's just grab a little brush. Something small and easy. We'll use this one. Now, using our brush, we're going to come up here and kind of outline some of these flowers. Start wherever. Just going to go around. Now, these flowers, we had flowers on my kitchen table. They were beautiful, so I sat there and sketched them one afternoon, and I just loved it. They've withered. They're gone now. But for a brief time, they were there. And I have an iPad off the screen here with some photos that I took of them. But this is from the original sketch, and I really want to capture this, the kind of feel I had when I was there. And getting this dark color all around is really going to help the colors pop, because these flowers are going to be very bright. And if there's a very bright thing and a very dark thing together, the eye goes, whoa, look at that. It's very exciting for our human eyes. I don't know why, but our eyes are drawn to contrast. So create contrast in your paintings. It's important. Of course, Van Gogh is one of my favorite painters, and there's many paintings where he avoids contrast. It's incredible. A lot of his sunflower paintings, he does a bunch of yellow sunflowers and then a yellow background too. Van Gogh, he would just make the most random choices, and they would be just totally inspired. They just work for some reason. No one knows why. It's just, yep, that works. But today we're not going to do that. Get this very dark all around here. The other day I was on a walk with my family, and the sun was going down, and all the trees in the distance were silhouettes. And I thought of that word, silhouette. It's such a beautiful word. Think about that. Somebody saw nature, and they saw something outlined, probably with the sun, a long time ago. They said, silhouette. Let's call it that. I don't know where words come from. It's very complicated. Well, here we go. Another painting show. Every week we have these shows where I do a whole painting. I absolutely love it. I look forward to it all week. Prepare my mind. Have an idea of what I want to paint, and then I stand in front of the camera and paint. And this is painting therapy. For me, that means that while I'm painting, hey, heck, this is my therapy session where I can just be myself and kind of talk about things I've been thinking about and worrying about, and I can just kind of be present. And that's the big thing with painting for me. It forces me 100% to be here right now. Live fully in the present moment. And because of that, it's my favorite thing. There's a lot of professions and a lot of people who have to be in the present moment for their job. And so they really love it. They don't maybe realize that's why they love it. But years ago, I met a professional NASCAR racer. And he was saying that when he's racing, he can't think about anything. He's just, in the zone. In the zone. In the present moment. And what's exciting is to think about being in that moment more often. Not just when we're painting, but trying to be there all the time if we can. Just be present, not thinking about who said what to you or what you're going to do or what you're worrying about or your life situation that you're dealing with. Just being here. Just thinking about what's around you. You know, what's around me. Right now, these paints are right here and the canvas is right here, and it envelops my whole mind, all of my concentration. I love that feeling. And that's why I love painting, because it gives me that feeling. And you might not get that feeling from painting. You might get it from something else. But hey, if you get that feeling from painting, paint. You should. You should do that. We find out what we love by just trying new things, you know? We can try new things, and then we'll know. There's a feeling in you that goes, wow, I liked that. If you like something, do it more often. That's very important. Be yourself. Do what you want to do more often. Ooh, look at that. We're kind of outlining these flowers, and it's just working. Let's go in between some of these areas here. Well, if you're not a painter, I hope you just enjoy watching, you know? Sit back, relax. This will be probably a couple hours long. We're going to have a finished painting in the end, and it's going to be exciting to see. I always love it. It's always a miracle to me to see, wow, there was nothing there before. There was no painting. It was white canvas. And then it just sort of came into being. I just love that. Something just appears before you, and you're done with it, and you step back and you think, how did that happen? How the heck did that happen? Sometimes I'm amazed. I think, wow, I did that? I painted a painting like that? Phew. I didn't know. Didn't know I could do that. Because when I'm in the moment, everything kind of goes away. Kind of forget who I am. I definitely forget all my problems. And it's such a fun place to be in, the painting world. Now, there is a little bit of a message with this painting that I hope to convey. It's subtle. But I sketched this because I love the idea of the mason jar in conjunction with these daisies. Daisies don't do anything for us. We don't eat them. They're not a crop. Well, maybe you can sell them at the store as pretty flowers. But they grow on the side of the road, and we just look at them and we go, wow, how pretty. They're pretty. They don't serve a purpose. You know, they just beyond just, wow, look at that little thing. And then it withers and dies very quickly. Flowers are ethereal. They don't last very long. But we appreciate them nonetheless. But a mason jar here, it's utilitarian in purpose. It was created to can food for survival. It's a survival thing. So we have these two opposites together. Something for the human survival. And then it's just curious how we pluck them up, cut their lives even shorter for our enjoyment. It is nice to look at flowers, though. But it is interesting to me that we do that. Oh, this is going to be fun. The background is going to have a lot of colors. We're just laying this in first to really get that background dark. And we don't have to go all the way here. Just out a little ways, and we'll take care of it later. I just want to get to the good stuff, the fun part. These flowers are going to be fun to paint. Heck. Very exciting. I'll just kind of go through some of these areas. All right. Right here. Right between here. Kind of approaching it like a paint by numbers, you know, just kind of do a little section here and there. It's not very hard. Think about one section at a time. Don't get overwhelmed with a painting. Don't think, oh, what am I going to do? Just think, oh, what can I do first? And with oil painting, typically you want to do the dark colors first. It just works better that way. All right, that was a lot of fun. Now, let's start some of these flowers. Let's clean this a little bit. going to put this to the side. We're going to definitely use this, and we're going to probably mix up more dark too. But let's put that to the side. Then let's mix up. And let's paint the middle of some of these. Like just a few of these, maybe all of these actually. Let's take yellow ochre. We'll put it right here. Some burnt umber. Darken this up. This will be the shadow color of the middle part of the flowers. Let's make it more red. All right, let's come up here and place in kind of the darker parts. The middle of these little daisies. We don't need too much color here, just a little bit on this shadow side. And this lighting is everything for this painting. It's really giving us an idea of the shapes of these things. There. The darker part of the middle of these flowers. And right here a little bit, not too much. All right, let's mix up a lighter part now. This is going to be fun. Let's lighten it up just a little bit, and we'll do kind of an in-between color. Yellow ochre. Let's add some yellow to it. Brighten it up a bit. There we go. Now we can take this color. We can sort of lay it in here. The middle of these little flowers. Oh, I love this. I love flowers. I always have. So beautiful. Wonderful little gifts from nature. We can look at these and admire them. And, ooh, they're just wonderful. I know most guys my age are probably painting sports cars or pictures of things that guys like, dudes like, typically. And, I think we shouldn't fall for this idea that we have to be a certain way because we're a man or a woman. I kind of grew up that way. I grew up with influences where you can't like flowers. Oh, what a small-minded perspective. We can like whatever we want. We can be whoever we want. It's very important that we're true to ourselves. And I've had people kind of smirk. You're painting flowers. Well, yeah. Sorry. I like them. Okay, let's put some yellow in the middle here. That'll be a lot of fun. Let's take pretty much pure yellow. Let's mix in some yellow ochre. Not very much. And this will be our brightest color. We can be whoever we want to be. We need to be true to ourselves. All right, just on the tops of these guys, just kind of giving some brightness and life to this. Be a little bit different from each other. Vary it a bit. Here we go. Where's the light catching? What's happening here? What's the shape of this thing? Think about every little part of it. Your brush should be going the way of the shape. It's almost like sculpting. Just kind of placing in the color and then mixing it in here, making a little bit of dimension to these guys. Ooh, look at that. Whoever you are, be brave. Be who you want to be. Doesn't matter what it looks like. If you are happy, that's what matters. And if, you're treating others with respect, that's also very important. Let's make this a little bit brighter. I'm going to add some white to this yellow. We're going to make the brightest parts here. Ooh, this is fun. I always love this. Look at this. The brightest. Just streaks of color. Don't want to overdo this. It's really fun with the highlights, but you got to just keep it. Lay it down and keep it. Don't fiddle with it. Just put it in. Your hand knows what to do. Just put it in. All of these parts. There. Oh. I had to do this first because I knew this would be my favorite part of the painting. Ooh. There. Yeah, that's really popping now. Oh, let's do a little bit here. I just want to do this darker. There. You kind of see the middle here just a little bit. And then this brighter color. All right. Hey, kind of looks like random little things. But now we're going to start putting in the shadow color for these flowers. So I'm going to clean my brush on this paper towel. I hold this in my left hand all the time. Clean it off a little bit. All right. And that dark paint keeps getting all over my hands. Paint can do that. Oil paint just starts spreading, but there's just a little bit, but then it looks like a lot. Okay, let's put in the shadow. So we need to mix up the shadow color. So let's do white first. Let's grab this black, just the smallest amount of it. Ooh, there we go, there we go, there we go. Now let's add some of this blue, some burnt umber. There, knock that down a little bit. Very, very good. Let's add some yellow ochre. A little bit of red. And a little bit more blue. Nice. All right, let's take this color and come up here. All right, where I think it's going to be the darkest, I'm going to lay this in. Just where I think it's going to be extra dark on these flowers. Because these are going to be pretty bright. They're just glowing in the sunlight. You know? Through here and there. And I have these photos that I'm looking at here and there, but I'm really trying to keep the spirit of the original lighting. Trying to remember that and keep it in my mind and from the lighting from this sketch here. It's very important, the lighting, where the light's hitting. It's going to be dark through here. Let's keep the shape of these petals, each one. Coming forward, kind of like that. Okay. Now over here, the underside of some of these, just little strokes. Don't need too much. Just a little bit. And through here. There. And through here. Like it. All right. Now, for some of these parts, I want this dark color that we used for the center of these. I just want to put a little bit at the base. Not very much. Some of these, just want to darken that up. Just going to use burnt umber here for just the darkest parts of these. There, even darker. Really show that shape off. Center of these. Paint. I like that. I want to make it even darker for this one. Just there. Trying to communicate shape without over mixing or working it too much. All right, let's lay in a lighter shadow color. Brighter, a little bit more saturated with the blue. Just a little. All right, these will look really good against the bright highlights. All right, let's come up here. All right, with this lighter shadow color, let's come up here and let's just hit some of these areas. Just here and there. All right. And we'll go through here and kind of do each one of these little guys. Each little petal. Wonderful. Thinking about the shape of each one. Not just what they look like, but what it feels like. Wonderful. All right, let's take this again and go through here. We can make this little petal darker. And this one. Using a lot of paint, you know? I really like to have a lot of texture on the canvas. I don't want it to be too flat. I don't want to see any of that canvas. Now, this is linen, And if you want to have less of that canvas texture, buy a linen canvas. It's not made out of cotton. There's a different texture to it. And for me, it's much more enjoyable to paint on. Traditionally, paintings were done on linen. So if you're struggling with that canvas texture and you're thinking, ooh, I don't like all those little bumps on my painting, well, buy a linen canvas. Could help you out. Could be good for you. You might like it. All right, some of these darker areas, and I'm sure we'll put more of these in here. Let's put some through here too. Even more. Just all of these little guys. There. Let that paint break as they go off. I want to communicate a little bit of movement. Like the breeze was coming through the window and they were moving a little bit. They do that. Plants like to use the wind to move. Kind of bob in the wind. So, yeah, that movement with plants is so enjoyable to watch. If you sit and sketch a tree for a long time, you'll see, wow, it's moving. It's alive. And you think, oh, no, Thomas, that's just the wind. You're confused. The tree's not alive like that. Well, we use the wind, don't we? We use oxygen. We can't live without oxygen. So we are the sky, humans. I know we normally don't think of it that way, but we are literally. It's just as much a part of us as our heart. Our lungs need that oxygen. It's part of who we are as people. All right. Let's add some through here. Just little bits on these darker spots. Just to give some dimension. All right, that's looking fun, right? You kind of see a little bit of flowers here. It's going to look better, though. It's going to look more fun. Let's add an even brighter shadow color. See, we're just working our way up, brighter and brighter and brighter. You can do that. There. A little bit more saturated. A little bit brighter. Nice. All right. Let's take this and go up here. And we can add some more up here, just a little bit brighter. All right. And we'll refine these petals as we continue. But I'm really liking that. And now I think we should add the lightest color. All right. You know, I want to put it on some of these because these lighter parts of the petals, it'll show through a little bit and give it a little bit more personality. So I'm going to just kind of put this in some of these. Let it go like that. All right. Let's add some more white. And we'll mix this white with a little bit of yellow. So we'll take our white and let's put it here. Take a little bit of yellow, put it there. All right, now we're talking. Let's take some yellow ochre. Ooh, very pretty. Very, very, very pretty. I like that. A little bit of off-white. All right, let's have some fun. Let's come on right up here at this bright one here. Sun's really hitting it. Just really making that bright. A lot of paint. All the way to the edge here. A lot of paint. Keep it bright though. We need to make sure it doesn't touch dark color and get contaminated. Gotta keep it bright. And we'll keep adding more of these. The sun's hitting this guy. And this one. Look at that natural shape. Let it glide over the canvas and kind of place this highlight on. It should just kind of fall off of the brush. You don't need a lot of pressure. It's just barely caressing the canvas. Here. Kind of let that paint just sit there. Sometimes I'll go over a part a few times, but I'm not going to overwork it. Now, I've been thinking lately, and I've got to just confess something, okay? Got to confess it. I've been thinking all week about something that I did, and I feel bad about it. Well, I feel bad enough to talk about it. I need to work through this. Somebody commented, and I'm normally not one for technology, but I was looking at these comments, and many of them are very, very kind, but then somebody put the poop emoji in a comment, and they said, this guy doesn't know how to use a brush. You know, he doesn't know how to treat his brushes. He obviously knows nothing. Oh, and my ego got all mad. And I commented back, how dare you? I didn't say it like that, but I said, you're assuming that I don't know what I'm doing, but really I do know, and I just choose not to follow the rules. Because my ego was hurt. And it was so silly. And right after I did that, I kind of realized, Thomas, what are you doing? Like, come on. What are you trying to do? Pick an argument here? Someone said what they think. And just let it go. Come on. And I was all upset inside, and I realized that was my ego flaring up. Oh, I want to be taken seriously. I want people to think I'm a great painter. Ooh, Thomas wants that. Come on, just paint. Just do what you want to do, and don't worry about what people think. And I fell for it. And I think the internet is a place where we can really fall for things like that. We can just let our egos love the internet. You don't know who you're talking to, but you can kind of just say what you want to say. What a useless waste of time. It was torture. I felt horrible, icky inside. I felt awful afterward. And I tried to find the comment to apologize, and I couldn't find it. Maybe I'm just not good with my phone or what, but I just couldn't understand how to find that comment again and tell them I'm sorry. So if you're watching this, which you're probably not because you didn't like it, but if you're watching this person that said that, I'm sorry, I'm not perfect. I do make mistakes once in a while. But like I say, each of us are nature, and nature doesn't make mistakes. Doesn't make mistakes. We always think we're separate from nature, but we're not. We're nature itself. Humans are nature. Whether we like it or not. We try to deny it. Oh no, we try to pretend that death doesn't exist. We try to pretend that we're separate from nature somehow. We're not. We're just as much part of nature as the wind or the sky. Just as much. Or these flowers. We're part of this beautiful one thing. It's fun to think about these astronauts that get to go to outer space, and they get to look down and see this one beautiful little fragile planet that's just hanging out on the edge of nothingness. They get to see that. That would be just glorious to see that someday. They say that some of these astronauts, it affects them. They realize, wow, we're just one thing. Yeah. We're just one thing when it really comes down to it. You look at that anthill and you say, look at all those ants. You don't think of Clyde and Owen and Stacy and Jessica, Each of these little ants has a name. Not really, but, we think that we're so special. We're just one of the humans, on this planet, and there's a lot of other life, and we're not as much of an individual as we might suppose. We might not be as individual as we think. So it's very nice to treat others with kindness and respect and treat them the way you'd want to be treated. And if you wouldn't like someone to say something in the comments that's not very nice, then you wouldn't do that. So I just feel, but at the same time, I need to work through that. I need to realize, hey, I'm not perfect. And right now, I'm not saying those things to that person. And I've realized that it was a mistake, and you know what? That's not me. That was my ego. And making that separation takes away that guilt, and it helps you kind of improve and be a better person. Because guilt just eats you up. All right, I'm going to keep going here, just working on these flowers. They're very pretty, though. They're popping, like I said, the dark against the white. For me, art isn't about the skill that I have. It's not about the years of training, which I, didn't have. I never went to art school. For me, it's about just this feeling of openness and presentness that I have when I paint, and I'm chasing that. That's why I paint. I'm not doing it for the paintings. I'm doing it for that feeling that I get when I paint. And that kind of mindset, I think, is important as an artist. It's all about this inner kind of world that we have. Not the art itself. The experience of creating the art is very special. Makes us happy. All right. And if we're constantly thinking when we're painting what people are going to think about what we're painting, then we can't really get into it and we can't enjoy it. And that's not fun. All right, let's continue here. This is going to be great. Let's start adding a little bit of this greenery and kind of piecing these together. So let's get some of this green. Put it right here. And we'll tone it down a little bit with this red. See that? Browns it down. We can add more green. That's too much. The red is very, very strong. Wonderful. A little bit of yellow. Ooh, that's a fun color. Okay, let's come up here. Now we can lay this down as some of the darkest parts of this stem here. We'll barely see it. I'm going to go down first. Paint this stem. And we'll do this one. Coming down like that. And we'll put some on the part of this leaf here. Oh, shoot. I grabbed some white paint. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, we'll take this dark and we'll put it over there. Then put some through here, just on the underside here where it's darkest. And over here and through here. Just little bits of color. And we'll put some right here. And come down. Got to do the sound effects, otherwise it doesn't work. All right. Let's put some there, whatever. What the heck? Let's put some along here. Kind of see what that would look like. Fun. Okay, let's put in some brighter, fun colors now. Let's grab some yellow ochre. We can sort of kind of let this... And I'm turning my brush to get the paint off of it. It kind of gives a natural kind of movement. Then we can add some red to it, kind of warm up the edge of it just slightly. Just slightly. Then we can take one more color. Let's take this bright color, a little bit of that yellow. Let's make it bright. Let's sing here. We can kind of let this be the sun hitting the edge of this. Really hitting that. Oh, beautiful. Isn't that great? Now it has a little stem, all with little highlights and stuff. Now that's the key with painting here. If you watch me, you'll realize it's going darker and then adding dimension with these brighter colors. Quite simple when you think about the basic mechanics of how this works. Quite simple. All right, let's brighten up some of this green. Ooh, that's perfect. Let's come up here. We can kind of... A lot of times with my leaves, for some reason, I just like to do these angles where it's kind of like... Because leaves can start looking so like kind of bubbly if you're not careful. So don't want that to happen. All right, and give this guy a stem. Let's bring this one down. So where would it go? And then this one needs one. Come like that. Okay. This guy gets a little stem as well. Can I come this way? All right. Let's add some of this lighter green color. I'm brightening it up with white because it's so bright that I need that to communicate that brightness. Let's give some zing to this guy. Look, it'll look like the sun's just hitting it really hard. There. Look at that. On the top of this, coming like that. Okay. Maybe right here. And top of this. See that? Kind of turning my brush every which way, making these little things appear. Doesn't take too much work to get the idea across, which for me that's important. If the idea comes across, then I'm done. You know, and I like to work on a painting for a while, but I don't want to work on a painting for the rest of my life. I like to do a lot of paintings. So I don't stress over the little things. That's just me, though. You can do whatever you want when you paint. Everyone has a different approach. That's what's so fun about painting. You can really see what the person saw, what they were thinking about. You can kind of tell. All right, what would be hitting the light here? Just this and that. Maybe some little guys through here, and we can add maybe kind of like that. Another little thing like that. And a highlight there. Kind of bring that down between those. Ooh, let's add a little highlight right here. Just on part of it. There. And let's get some of this yellow, and we can kind of all the way through there. Cute. I'm really liking this. It's a lot of fun. Okay, let's continue working, and we'll revisit these and work over areas, I'm sure. Oh, actually, let's not continue working. Let's work on this a little bit longer. Kind of bring this lighter blue color through here and kind of get it all the way up to this edge to kind of define this little guy. All through here, each little petal. Make some of them a little crooked. They're not all perfect. Not all absolutely perfect. But if you want your things to be perfect, that's great. It's wonderful. Let's make a very, very bright color. A little bit of yellow ochre. Just a little bit. There. Let's add some more white. Hoo, I like this. All right, this bright color. Let's kind of have a little bit more fun here. Let's just sort of hit some of these even more. Even brighter. Even brighter than that. Okay, there. Let it sparkle. I want the sun to just be hitting these. A lot of paint. These brighter colors, we can just glob it on. It gives texture. It's like, whoa, look, you can kind of communicate some of the texture of the petals with quite a bit of paint. It's pretty fun. There. Oh, that little guy's a little scraggly. I like it. Ooh, I like that little break in the paint there, natural. Glob it on here. There, wherever the light's going to hit. Just make a decision and place it in. Make a decision. Wonderful. This little guy needs some attention. Let's add some more bright parts. Right through here, just really maybe there. Okay. Fun. Very enjoyable. Let's make this guy really bright. He's right there, you know. He's close to this light. And now, with these flowers, because I'm just having way too much fun on these petals, I want to add some more colors, like a little bit of a pink. So let's pink this up, part of it. Let's take this white and pink it up. See that? Now, we can take this kind of sort of pinky color. We can place it here and there, not too much though, just to give some personality here. Sometimes these colors you don't see, but they work well design-wise. So if we incorporate them, they can kind of trick the eye into having a little bit more excitement with these petals. And if they're all just white, you can start looking a little bit boring, a little bit predictable for our eyes. Because in real life, things, they kind of reflect on white surfaces. So maybe there's a red thing to the side of this. I don't know. Ooh, that's looking a lot more fun. See how it plays off of that yellow? It really makes that yellow pop more and makes everything work a little bit better. Oh, look at that. Not all the time, not all over the place, but here and there. That's just great. Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, now let's do some more kind of a yellow. Let's do some more of this yellow, and we'll do some bright yellow parts. Ooh, I'm gonna have to clean my palette soon. I keep making a mess, but that's okay. Okay, let's add more of this yellow to this white. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Now here and there, we can kind of add a little bit more dimension. Some of these, just little bits, not very much. Overdo this. Oh, look at this. I like this idea of this reflecting some of the white, because it's right by it, so we can sort of put this next to it like it's reflecting that yellow onto the white. See that? I love white surfaces like this because they reflect so much. You can kind of get away with doing things like this, and it looks kind of real. That's reflecting off that, so we can do some right there, and a little bit more there. Beautiful. All right, let's continue working. I'm excited about this mason jar. So let's start laying in some of the darker parts here, and then we can do the highlights. So let's get this dark color again that we had laid in earlier. We can kind of start placing it in through here. Now, we don't need to just do the shape of this. All we're going to do is the color, and that'll communicate all we need. And some subtle brush strokes, directional brush strokes, that'll communicate a little bit. A little difference between these sections. All this is dark. We can see through this. It's transparent. So, gotta see through this jar. There's a lot of dark parts. Right up to here. Let's even bring it down like that. There. Not quite as dark as the background because it's kind of being diffused a little bit with this glass, but a little bit darker. And we can place it through here. You know, a lot of times people will see paintings like this and they'll say, wow, that's so hard to paint glass. It's actually very easy. The first trick when you're learning to draw, which is a prerequisite for painting, by the way, the first trick when you're learning to draw is to not draw what you think you see, but just to draw what you see. And so to do that, you kind of drop your mind. You know this is a mason jar, but you kind of drop that. And you say, well, what do I see? You don't just draw the shape of a mason jar. You draw what you see. And what I see are different values, different colors, different textures. And communicating that is what gives this its shape and life. But It's really just a bunch of colors. All right, let's have some fun with some of these brighter spots. Let's take some of this blue and a bunch of white. We're going to add a little bit of that blue and white together. There we go. All right, let's kind of go like this. Now this is important. I don't want to get the shape wrong here. Ooh, look at that. Coming right across. Don't want to try too hard. Minimal paint. Well, a lot of paint, but minimal brush strokes. Minimal brush strokes here. Beautiful. And right here, a couple marks. Sort of coming across. Some right there. Going like that. One right here. Like that. Just giving some brighter spots here. Look at this. This part can be brighter. Sort of just break the paint. Look. Break it. Let it just roll off and then stop. Let it just kind of glide along the canvas and less paint comes. Kind of looks not quite as bright. There. Okay. Now let's add some kind of more saturated light blue here. I kind of want to get the idea of the sky being reflected in the sky. So let's do some blue there, and some blue here, and some blue over here. And let's do some, let's do this. Just kind of this water line. That'll be fun. You know, when you love something, you just do it more often. You know, you want to do something when you love it. No one has to force you. Your mom doesn't have to say, do this. You're doing it. So what are you doing with most of your time? You like that, don't you? And admitting that you like it is important. Admitting that you actually like doing what you're doing. Because if you're on your phone all day, it's because you like it. It's because you want that distraction. You enjoy that. Admit that you like what you're doing. And accept it. Then the change will happen. Don't try to change yourself. Don't try to be someone you're not. It never works out. It's impossible. Just be aware of what you're doing. Be aware. That's what's important. Just the awareness of it. And with time, you'll start doing things that are much more fulfilling with time. It's easy to improve if you're not trying. If you just let go and you're not trying to hold on to all this weight, it's easier to improve and become who you want to be. All right, look at that. Ooh, bright reflections here. The sun's really sparkling on this. Just like that. And right here, let's do some very bright spots. Right here. All right. Fun. Okay. Now, I want to add a little bit of dark blue. A little bit of white. Pretty dark, though. Through here. A little bit of yellow ochre to that and red. Knock down the saturation a bit, but I want it to be pretty dark. There. Kind of like this. Ooh, I like that. That's working. Okay. Alrighty. Let's add some darker spots up here. But since we did the whole canvas dark like this, now we can just like kind of let the canvas show through here and there, and we can still get the idea across. Very good. There's so many different ways of painting and so many different styles, and you can find your own. The important thing is to start, and then over time you'll find what you really love, the subject that you love painting, and all of that. You'll really discover what you like. I'm just going to scrub this in. Scumbling is the word. Scumble it in. Ooh, look at that. Bright, bright, bright. Kind of sideways. Kind of think about water. There's water in this jar. Ooh, look at that. Brighter. Let's just let the water just sparkle there. Get sparkle through here. Through here. I get so excited about these bright spots. Hey, that's starting to look like glass. I'm going to step back. It's important to step back, folks. If you're all right here, you can't really see what you're painting. So every 30 minutes or so, I try to step back. All right, we're going to just kind of clean up some of these areas. Right through here. Really get that shadow nice and close. Some of these are totally in shadow and some of them are partially in shadow. It's kind of fun to think about each one of these and try to make it just right. And again, this is what I love about painting, in particular for me. It gets me into this present moment, this moment right now. I can't worry about anything else. This is too consuming for my mind. And talking too. I love talking and painting. It's even more exciting for me. So it really gets me into the moment, and I can't think about anything else, and it's just wonderful. It's just great. All right, through here, these would be dark. I really want to put more paint on the canvas here. I want this guy to be like that. Right up to this. That. Wonderful. This is partially in shade there. There. Now this little bit darker color, we can kind of just give a little dimension. Adding it to the base because it'd be darker down here towards the little thing in the middle. I don't know what it's called. There. All right. Just looking around thinking about what else I want to do. This section. Could use some love. Put one there and one there. One through here. There we go. Ooh, let's do this. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's get a little bit of this. I want to look like an orange at the base here. That's good. And right here. Oh, that's fun. We can kind of do that here too. Orange. Okay, on the top part here, we can get a really bright white of this flower, and we can just make it a lot brighter. Really putting on a lot of paint here. Usually do. Sometimes I don't, though. Sometimes it's less. All right. Kind of right here. This needs to be bright. This one needs to be very bright. Sun's really hitting right there. You know, in everyday life, if we're just looking at lighting, if we're just looking at the way things look and not placing any judgment over it, no judgment. If we're just there. No opinions, just looking. Something happens. It's very special. We enter reality. We enter the moment, which is all we have. Constantly, we're living in the past and the future, thinking about what we're going to do, what happened, who am I? We carry the story of who we are everywhere. But when we're focused on a moment, and nothing else is happening, we kind of transcend all that, and we become something else. We become just awareness, just a little I'm here kind of feeling. That's what I love about painting. You kind of let yourself go. That's kind of the point. If you're all nervous thinking about other things besides what you're trying to do, painting, it doesn't work. Painting doesn't work out. It's more of a mindset thing. And so that's why I love painting, because of what it does to me, what it does to my mind, the way it makes me feel while I paint, because I'm in the present moment. That's why. And I've been saying, I've been entering that present moment much more often, and being there, and it's so peaceful and so just kind of freeing to not have judgments all the time and to not be thinking, to just be sitting there and looking around. And that might sound boring, but it's really brings a lot of lasting happiness to not always be thinking, that's bad, that's good, what do I think of that? What do I think of this? And like, if we just don't have any judgments whatsoever and just look around us and just notice what's around us, and we really enter the present reality that we're in. So many times our heads take us out of that special place that feels like we're home, you know? So if you have something you love, it can really lead you to that space. And the more you do it, the better your life will be in every way. Cultivate that moment, not the activity itself. If the activity is not giving you that focused presence, it's not the right one. Now, it can be a lot of things. There's a lot of things that make me very focused. I like writing poetry. I'll sit there for hours, writing song lyrics, etc. Sketching is really big for me. I'll sit there for a long time and just be very present. Listening to classical music makes me very present sometimes. And so I do all of these things to keep myself present. And you can kind of find what works for you and incorporate those things in your life more often. And the more often we can be in that present moment, that special space where we feel like we're right here, right now, the better it is, the happier we are. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, if you're like, Thomas, I don't understand. What do you even mean, the present moment? What is that? The present moment is what's around you. Where are you? Do a little assessment, like a scientist. What's going on here? Oh, well, there's carpeting. I feel some air conditioning. There's lighting. Oh, there's cameras. There's carpeting. Oh, there's paints. That's what's around me right now. My mother, she's not here. My childhood, it's not here. I'm in the moment, right here. That's the moment. When you're listening to a song and it just envelops everything, you're in it. That's the moment. Wouldn't you like to live life that way all the time? I sure want to. I love that feeling. It's the most incredible feeling. Why wouldn't I want to feel that all the time? So cultivating the ability to be here as much as possible, as much as you can. It's really important.
for well-being, for happiness and everything. Being mindful of what are you thinking about? Why are you off in la la land? Come back. Remind yourself, and you'll do this if you first start trying to do this. You'll come in and out of this mindset. You'll realize, wait a minute, I kind of got sucked back into the worrying mind for a day or two, and then you can remember, hey, you know what? I don't want that. And when it happens again, you can kind of notice it, and you can kind of say, oh, I kind of lost myself there. I got really mean. I started thinking, wow, all my problems and my life and all the things that are wrong. And then I got mad about this thing with my family, and it just consumed me. That's when we're falling for these things that make us so unhappy. Like 85-90% of our unhappiness is just our thoughts, what we're thinking about can drive us nuts. And just, what's around you? Do you feel your heart beating? What noises do you hear? Be here. What's happening? What do you feel right now? Not tomorrow. Not what are you going to do tomorrow? It's what are you feeling right now? You're usually okay, unless you've been kidnapped or something. Like, most of us are okay right now. We're watching a video. We're probably safe right now. So why aren't we happy? Why aren't we happy? Why aren't we tremendously excited to be alive? It's because we're wrapped up in our little story. Well, I'm not very happy because I'm really upset about the way I was raised, my parents, and I can't be happy. Well, you're safe, right? Well, it has nothing to do with it. I want to keep thinking about this. And when we decide, hey, I want this, when you realize and humble yourself and say, I want to be upset right now. That's why I'm upset, because I want to be. Not the true me, but my ego wants to be. My ego wants to be upset right now. That's why I'm upset. Why does it want to be upset? Because it's jaded by the world? Because it's been beaten down? It's almost given up hope, and it's just upset. Our ego can just really, really have a hard time. But if we let that go and just forget what's happening, who we are, just kind of enter the moment, forget our story, forget our problems. I mean, they bubble up to the surface, but we don't pick them up. We just sit there. When a thought comes, you go, oh, interesting. And it kind of just goes away. First, that might be very difficult, but it's possible. And the more and more we do that, the better artists we'll be, the more creativity we'll tap into. See, that creativity, it doesn't come out of the ego. No. The ego is competitive, and it just causes all these nasty emotions to consume us. Nasty, horrible, just pain. You'll feel it in your back. You'll feel it all over. You're tense. Why are you tense? You're tense because your ego is having a hard time. Your life's not panning out the way you thought it would. Your situation isn't what you wanted it to be. I wanted to be a lawyer, but I got kicked out of law school. Blah, blah, blah. No, that's not happening right now. Come back. Where are you? Oh, I'm in a room. Okay, you're in a room. Look around. What's happening? What's happening right now? And I want to let you know, if you think what I'm saying right now is absolutely silly, you'll understand. You'll understand someday. We all must. Okay. Very happy with this. I want to keep working on this We'll keep coming back to these flowers and such, but I want to start working on this bottom part of the jar. So I'm going to go wash my hands and come right back. All right, let's keep working on this jar. I want to brighten up some spots and just really make this sparkle. I really want this to just be bright. So first, because we want it to be bright, we're going to add some blue and some green. Mix that together. Blue, green, a little bit of yellow ochre. All right. Coming through here, I'm going to kind of place this in around here. Really make this nice and dark. Just in some of these areas. Through here. All right. Let's kind of work in some of these stems with this dark green color. Sap green. I love sap green. Let's kind of bring this down like this and think, well, where's this guy going? Let's see here. Okay. This guy. Where's this little thing? Going like that. And another one here. This one comes like this. Really turns. All right. Fun, fun, fun. Let's add some highlights now to some of these. Gonna get some yellow ochre. Oh, good. That's probably the perfect color, actually. Let's just kind of see. Okay, the sun's hitting right there. Oh, right on the edge of this guy. And there. Keep working on this. But yes, being in the moment right now. It can sound silly if you've rarely experienced it, because your mind is what you think is normal. You think thinking is, well, that's living, right? Thinking is, I think, therefore I am. If I'm not thinking, I'm not living. But there's this other part of us that's never changed, ever. Ever since we were a little kid. There's a little thing that's never changed. Looking around, just when you don't have any thoughts, and you're just looking around. That's what it felt like to be a child. You weren't consumed by your ego yet. That's why you miss your childhood so much. That's why I have. I feel like I'm in my childhood again, since I've just been, as much as possible, just being here. Just being myself. Just looking around. Requires no effort, but suppressing those thoughts that keep coming, that's not how you do it either. You're not constantly thinking, I'm thinking again. It doesn't work that way. Maybe at first. It can be very difficult. I think at first, if you're trying to quiet your mind in any way, the first step is to sit with no distractions in a quiet room for as long as you can. You're allowed to think about whatever you want. You just can't do anything. It's this idea that you're just hanging out. Why? To learn how to quiet your mind. What are you allowed to think about? Anything you want. Anything. Anything. It doesn't matter. Anything you want to think about. But at first, don't try to stop yourself from thinking about anything. Just sit and think instead of distract. It's a whole different idea. You're not being distracted. You're sitting there and you're just using your mind. Very, very different than watching TV or reading a book. Most people don't know how to think. It's very sad. They honestly don't know. I know you probably think that sounds crazy, but if you really think about it, Most people don't know how to think. And that doesn't mean that people who know how to sit there and quietly think are better. No. It's nothing to do with that. The ego is not involved with this at all. It has no place. There's no personal story being told, no personal narrative. It's just the present moment. Right now, right here. Nothing else. It's a beautiful thing. And if that's not enough for you, go chase all the excitement you want. But you'll come back to the same spot you started. Looking around, knowing you're alive, and realizing that everything you thought in your life was a bunch of garbage. And how much time you wasted. That'll happen when we die. We don't like to think about it. But that's what we'll be thinking about. Oh, shoot, I forgot to live. I was thinking the whole time. All right, let's add a little bit of purple. And when I mean most people don't know how to think, of course, they're thinking all the time with their ego. That's one sort of thinking. It's very weak and it's very sad and it doesn't work very well, and the brain, it doesn't work. When the ego thinks, it's just, oh, what can I do about this? How can I get ahead with this? And what am I gonna do about this? Because they said this and I don't like that. You know? What wasteful thinking. Our brains are so powerful, they can be used for much more important things than, what's going on? Why did he say that? Does he disrespect me? Does he just not think I'm good enough? Like, why did he say that? Why didn't he bring that up to me? Does he think I'm not good at what I'm doing? We're always looking, the ego's always looking for some way to take offense, be upset about something. Why did they say that? Oh, I just want to be upset. I want to think about why they said that. And I want to just kind of brood in that. That's what you want to do. No, I don't want to be upset. I don't want to be thinking. Yes, you do. You still want to. And when you finally decide that you don't want to suffer anymore, because you're so tired of the suffering of being in your mind all the time thinking, what about? When you're finally tired of that, and you just release it, give up, and when the present moment comes and there's no thought, it's just the most incredible feeling. Just like when you're a kid and all of these creative opportunities come, you won't even believe how creative you'll be. Just like a kid again, except now you know so many things as an adult, but you're able to kind of let those go and kind of be there, so present. It really improves everything in our lives. All right, I'm going to keep working on this, but I'm going to step back for a little minute. Let's mix up a kind of a very, very dark blue color. So we'll have this blue and a little bit of that. I just want to kind of bring this around here, see if it's working. Ooh, that's working. Great. So through here, just going sideways up to this. Just want to scrub it in. Removing excess paint, just letting it kind of scrub in. All through here. Trying to be level because I want the table's kind of grain to come through, the texture of this wooden table. Bright wood, kind of. But it's so bright in the foreground that we won't see any detail. Right up to that. There. Fun. Okay, on this side now. All this dark color. Some of you may not have noticed there's another little flower down here that we're going to do. But I really want to get this dark color in first so we can really see it. Make it pop. All the way up to that jar there. Right along that line. And kind of fill this in here. Wonderful. The colors we choose are the most important. And the value of that color, very, very important. The direction of the brush strokes, important. Those things matter. But, again, when I'm painting, I'm not thinking about that. Kind of just enveloped in the present moment. All right. Sometimes thought enters, but obviously no thoughts about my life, just what I'm doing. And when I am thinking about what I'm doing, it's more emotional. And what's interesting with this show is I've had to talk through it. It's been very interesting to kind of translate my emotions into speech. Because normally I don't think in words, I just kind of feel something. So it's a good exercise for me to try to explain what's going on. We'll look at the back side of this here, give it a little bit of shape. Think about the glass, what's going on. Kind of shape of it. Good. Fun. All right, I kind of want to get in some brighter parts through here to see if it's working and to kind of establish the value of the reflections, and then we'll keep working. So I want a pretty bright color, but not too bright. Let's start with this. I think this color will work for the table. Let's come up here. Let's just, oh good. See these two values next to each other? This is what's fun. This is what's exciting. It's like, whoa, pop. So if your paintings are highly detailed, but they don't have that value changes next to each other, a lot of times they'll feel kind of boring. Paintings that I've done where everything's kind of muted, they don't really pop. And if you want a painting to really pop, it's all about these values next to each other. Dark, light. Make it as dark as you can and as light as you can, and it'll just be exciting to look at. All through here. All right, that's going to be good. I like that. Okay. Let's add some right through here. See if that works. Oh, good. Just kind of, okay. Let's lay in more of this shadow now. I need more Prussian. Wonderful. So yes, let's live our lives out of this this presence without thought or judgment, unless we need to think through a situation, you know. Most of our thought is not necessary. We can sit down and plan something, but most of the time, we don't need to be really thinking that way. Let's add a little bit of white. about our status, about our worth, about our past. Those things, especially when we do art, should not be considered or on our mind in any way. And a lot of people are drawn to art because of that. They wouldn't say it that way. They'd think they like the art, but they actually like the feeling of doing it. Like the feeling they get. I've always just loved looking, the feeling of just, wow, look at that. That's a wonderful feeling. We went to the Grand Canyon recently, my family. And yeah, it's very easy at the Grand Canyon to have that, wow, no thoughts. You're just looking and you're like, wow, I've never seen something so beautiful before. And you think it's the Grand Canyon that does something to you. No. It's that feeling of awe. Times when we feel that feeling of awe, that's the feeling of being a child. That's the feeling we miss. You know? So find the good thing that gives you that feeling. Get used to it and then want to feel it all the time. Why don't you want to feel good all the time? We should. I think there's a Seinfeld episode where Kramer, here's to feeling good all the time. Well, we don't need to do that with vices. We can do that with our mindset by being here right now, just in the present moment, just observing. No thoughts. And do you know what it's hard to put into words, but do you know what it feels like? It feels like this, to be in the present moment. Wow. I'm alive. Holy cow, I'm alive. I'm standing here, I feel my body. Ooh, I'm alive. Wow. I'm alive right now. Can you believe it? I'm alive right now. That's what it feels like. And that feeling is as good as it gets. It's as good as life gets. Wow. Just a tremendous, it's not even gratitude because you can't put it into words. It's just coming home. Like, oh, here I am. That's me. But it just feels kind of like that. There's no words. When you're really present, it feels like you did when you were playing as a kid. Write in the comments. Let me know, what do you do to kind of feel that? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Do you relate with this? I want to know. Because these are just the ways I feel. This is me. So maybe I'm just crazy. I'm just being myself here, you know? I don't want to be crazy. All right, I want to put a little bit of a shadow underneath this little guy here. Oh, let's put in this shadow here. Kind of give him a little bit of a... There. This one will be fun to draw in a minute, or to paint. Very fun. All right. I want to add a little bit of excitement here. Let's grab some, ooh, you know what? Let's grab some burnt sienna. Burnt sienna. Place it right here. And let's just do pure burnt sienna on the canvas here. It's so funny with burnt sienna. So many times I just put it right onto the canvas without mixing it. I mix every other color so much. But look at that. See, this will make the blue kind of pop even more. If you can do that, if you can say, wow, I'm alive. I'm feeling alive. I'm here, present. Grateful to be alive right now. And you just keep feeling that, you will break down in tears. I guarantee it. It's unbearable at first. Unbearable feeling when you're just, I'm here. And you truly are so grateful for it. And you can't think about anything else. I'm alive. I'm alive. If you could only live for 20 more minutes, you'd be feeling that the whole time. I'm alive. I'm alive right now. Or you'd be thinking, I'm going to die. But it'd be better to think, I'm alive still. I'm alive still. Wow. And you'd be grateful all of a sudden. Wow, I like this feeling. It feels nice to be alive. It feels good. There's just like this natural alertness and excitement and just a zest for life, a natural one. Just being alive. We miss it so much sometimes. We don't know how to get there. We need to find out how. All right, that's kind of fun. It's really just bright colors here. Let's focus on this now. I want to do a lot of dark colors, but I want to vary it. So let's just do like a lot of burnt umber, a little bit of blue, a little bit of yellow ochre, just the smallest amount. I want to kind of have a few different colors in the background that are similar to black, but not quite black. So we'll kind of mix that in. Then we'll do more blue. More blue. All right. We can kind of work this. Let's just start at the top here. Through here. Bunch of little marks. I don't like using a big brush for this. I want to have that little feeling of just all these little marks. I like Van Gogh for that reason. He didn't just, he just kind of did a bunch of little marks, and it's kind of fun, to look at. When you're there in person, a painting like this with all this texture, it looks great. I just love looking at paintings with texture like this. But that's just me. Some people, they want a completely flat glass finish on their oil paints. They want it, and that's wonderful for them. And I kind of just like this kind of rough Van Gogh look, But there we go. Let's work some of this into there. We can kind of do a few marks through here. I don't like that. But yeah, being in the moment and rejecting all thought is rejecting your identity. You think, oh, if I do that, then am I even alive? If I'm not thinking, who am I? It's an acceptance. That's what it is. Deep acceptance. And it hurts. And it's wonderful. And it brings peace eventually. It's a wonderful feeling. Accepting, it's not, you don't have to be grateful for your life. Of course not. Be grateful for what's around you right now. Be grateful for this time that you have. That's what we can be grateful for. You don't have to be grateful for your childhood or your situation or what's happened in your life. You don't need to think about those things. Remember, you're not thinking about those. Oh, I'm grateful for my things that are good in my life. I'm grateful that I have a good job, and I'm grateful that I have this and that. No, look around you right now. You're great, and it's not, oh, I'm grateful for that, but I'm not grateful for that piece of trash on the road. I'm grateful for that pretty flower, but I don't like that. I like this, but I don't like that. That's not thinking. I like this and I don't like that. Well, The flower wouldn't be very pretty if the trash wasn't there, would it? Can you accept them? And can you say, wow, what a beautiful moment? You know? David Hockney, a very famous British artist, probably one of the greatest living artists right now, he said if you locked Van Gogh in a room in, Nevada somewhere in a hotel room, he would emerge with masterpieces of the stains on the carpet. He'd look at the where the wood and the carpet met, and he'd create a painting right there, and he'd really appreciate it. It's like he would. Because he was just there, and he didn't think, oh, that's good and that's bad. I'm going to paint this because it makes me happy, but I'm not going to paint that because it's sad. His paintings are just like everything, every emotion. He just accepted them all. He accepted all those emotions. Kind of like that. Just acceptance, Not good or bad. Oh, my life's not good or bad. I'm just here. What do I see? What do I hear? And sometimes we do get in awful situations, but it's very rare in our lives. A few times some people get in horrible, life-threatening situations. Most people, they don't really get into those, but they're keyed up as if it's a life-threatening situation. They're terrified. All the time. I know this because I'm talking to myself here. This is how I've felt for so long. Terrified all the time. The next bad thing that's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. It's bad. What's the next thing that's going to happen that's bad? I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for the next horrible thing in my life. Oh, there it is. I knew something bad would happen. I knew it. I knew something bad would happen. See, I said it. What a stupid way to live. Always in fear of what's around the corner. Always terrified, assuming that it's going to be negative. But you know what? We developed that way of operating because of things that happened in our past, where for a time in our life, we needed that to survive. We adopted this way of seeing the world, and maybe we're still holding on to it. Maybe we're still holding on to this survival mode, always thinking, oh, what's going to happen? Because bad things did happen to us. That's trauma. That's called trauma. Most people are dealing with it. It's not like some people have it and some people don't. Everyone has trauma. Some people just don't have as much of a difficult time with it. But artists are extremely sensitive usually. Oh, they have this inner world with all these emotions, and they can be depressed sometimes. And artists can have a really difficult time. And so for me, it was so agonizing to live in that space of judgment constantly that I just had to separate from it. My story, who I am, what my life is like, what I want my life to look like. And I've said that I want my life to, I don't care what it looks like. I just want to be at peace inside. I want to be fulfilled inside. I want to be living. I want to be happy. This is interesting what's developed here. I don't know what I've been thinking, but here we go. While I was talking, something happened. But it's kind of fun. It kind of draws your eye in, I suppose. Kind of an interesting effect. I keep working on it here. Yep. If you're keyed up all the time, it's because that's your operating system. That's the way you've learned to deal with the world, and it's not good. People are tortured every day for no reason by their minds. It's hard too when we're dealing with people in our lives. We might have people in our lives who are deeply asleep. They don't even realize that they're unhappy. They don't even realize that they could control what they think about and take charge of it by relinquishing control. They don't know that. And sometimes we have to live with them and deal with them. That is the most difficult thing, I think. Because you can get sucked right into this mindset. You can be talking to someone who's very, very just has no idea what it's like to stop thinking about who they are and what's going on. They carry it as soon as they wake up in the morning. Oh yeah, and their face gets they're all upset. That's what happens. That's what happened to me for years. I would wake up, and then 5 seconds later, just, oh yeah, life sucks. I forgot. The world has nukes. I can't be happy. There's nukes out there. We could all die any day now. I can't be happy. I'd wake up and realize, oh yeah, I live in this horrible world. I can't be happy. What am I going to do? Do that for the rest of my life and refuse to just live? So we might be with people like that who are so deeply entrenched in their mind and their thoughts that they don't know how to stop themselves from getting angry and yelling at us. And we can remove ourselves from situations that aren't any good. We can do that. But we don't always have to. We can love them and say, well, you know what? I'm not speaking to who they really are. I'm speaking to this prideful part of them. This part of them that doesn't quite understand. You know? And that's okay. And it just brings loving and just like, hey, things are okay. You're hurting. These people that are mean to you in your life, they're hurting tremendously. Oh, they're having the hardest time you can imagine. All right, I'm going to step back and look at this. Wonderful. I want to work on this flower. I think that'll be great. So let's do the dark part of it. Let's get some of this yellow ochre and burnt umber. All right. I'm just going to do the dark part of this. I want a little bit of red. Ooh, a little bit of this. There we go. That'll work tremendously. A little bit darker. All right. Just a little bit here. And I want some straight burnt umber. A little bit left. Right through here. Very dark. Okay. Now we'll do kind of a mid color between the two. I'll grab more of that yellow ochre. Let's just brighten it up. There we go. Kind of put that here. Like that. And then let's get more yellow. Oh. More yellow. More yellow. And we'll do yellow ochre mixed and some white. That'll be fun. Let's put it right here. Ooh. Maybe we'll use this for some of the other flowers too. And some yellow ochre. Make it more natural. There we go. A little bit of orange and red. There. Fun. Okay. Now we kind of hit this top. Just like that. And you know what? Watching this show, if you intensely watch it, or any show, but especially something like this, where we're speaking about these things, it can help you kind of feel what the present moment is like more. Really can. Many of us just aren't there very often. We don't go there. We forget how. You know, Peter Pan, that's a true story, basically. Like, that's literally how it all works. We get caught up thinking that our lives are so important, and we forget what it was like when we were a child. It's very sad. Okay. Let's add in that shadowy color. Let's grab some of that, some blue, and some white, and some red, and some yellow ochre. Gonna make something like that. Knock it down with some burnt umber, and then bring it back up with some white to dull it down. Those two together. There. All right, let's come up here. All right, let's place in some of these shadows right here and right here and right on the underside of that one. Now, something like that, right up to this. There. And the back side of some of these. And maybe something right around here. All right, now we can place in the bright stuff. All right, let's take our white and a little bit of this color. Oh, we'll mix it together. Make a pretty bright color here. Not too bright though. Don't want to be too bright. All right. Let's put in some of these petals where the sun's hitting, just like before. A lot of paint. A lot of paint. A lot of texture. You're kind of sculpting it, you know? Kind of what's happening here. Think of it like sculpture. It'll help your brush. If you're having a hard time with that, that really helps. Okay, a little bit of the shadow color, mix it in here. I just want to add a little bit more definition to some of these areas. All right. And more of this very bright color. And right here, very, very bright. And right here. All right. Fun. Right to the side of the canvas. Kind of forgotten. Poor little guy, you know? He's me. Poor little forgotten Thomas. There he is. Just kidding. I always identify with something in my paintings as me. There. All right. All right. More bright. A little bit of that. There we go. A little bit more. I think I want to add a little bit of pink. Oh, that'll be fun. Just here and there. Just like that. Kind of the other underside of some of these. Gonna let there be a little bit of this pink color. That. All right. Well, we'll probably work more on this later. But for now, we've got the beginnings of a flower thing, at least. That's always nice. The beginnings of something. You got to just start. If you just start, something will happen. When you're painting. You go, shoot, it's not what I want. Well, if you just keep working, it'll become how you want it to be. You've got to be patient. You've got to just trust. If at any point you're thinking, oh no, that's not a good attitude to have when you're painting. Oh no, I messed up. Hey, it's just a game. It's just a little game. I've said this before. We are very lucky to be able to paint. If you can sit down in a quiet house, paint, life doesn't get better than that. A peaceful, quiet environment for a human to sit and just appreciate the world. What an incredible opportunity. And yet we're miserable. Again, it's because of stories that we're telling ourselves. And our story is our identity. We're taking our movie way too seriously. It's not that serious, but we take it so seriously. My life needs to work out. I really want it to work out this way. I want this to happen. I really want this to happen. And if I don't work really hard, and if I don't improve, that's not going to happen. That's not a way to live. It's not a way to live, folks. That's why we need to just trust. Trust. Relinquish control and trust. Trust the moment. Just be here. As much as we can. A little bit of that. Right up to this, very bright. Ooh, fun, it's kind of pink compared to it. That helps it stand out. There we go. Van Gogh said something like, he said, accentuate the subtle and diminish the obvious. Something like that. Basically, don't spend time and energy and the viewers focus on the thing that doesn't matter. What's the painting about? Focus on that stuff when it comes to the painting. I'm going to put in a green stem here, just kind of a dark first, the base. It's kind of like that. Very dark, very dark. All the way back here, a little bit through. We kind of see it a little bit. Okay. Then we come in a little bit of this, a little bit of the yellow, and a little bit brighter. Just there. So yeah, we don't need to do all the parts of the painting in the same way with detail everywhere. Kind of let some parts be less detailed and some parts more detailed, and that's okay. Okay, I want to bring in a little bit of a lighter blue here and there as we're getting farther away, and I want it to be a little bit more purple, and I think this will help convey some of this shadow a little bit better. More purple, more of this dark color. There. A little bit more purple and red. Let's see. Well, that's fun. Look. Come up here and we can kind of work this in and make these areas a little bit brighter. More of that. There. Getting farther away, so just want it to look different. Then we'll take this red and this right here, and we can kind of outline some of these areas. Just this will just like kind of look cool. And the edges of shadows kind of do this sometimes through glass. There's green and kind of sort of magenta-y red effects that happen on the edge of things that are projected through it. And if you're a photographer, you'll know. I forgot what it's called. A chromatic aberration, I believe. But yeah, that's what's happening here as the light comes through on the edges through here. I'm gonna add a little bit of this red, and there we go. A little bit more red, white. Okay. Ooh, I like that. Communicating a little something. The translucence of these flowers. All right, I'm going to step back and see if what I'm going for is being communicated. There. Now what I want to do is I want to take this red color and I want to sort of outline this table, kind of give it a strong outline. Just kind of let the paint break. Okay. Kind of like this. Okay. Fun. Now with this darker blue, kind of come through here and right up to it. That's fun. And right through here, let's incorporate some of this red into this. That'll be fun. Just sort of here and there. It's not super red, but it looks kind of cool. Let's do this. Between these two, let's go all along this with this red. All the way along here. And brighten it up just a little bit. The edges of these. Twirling my brush like that. There. Or this red. This bright red. There. Very fun. Very fun. Let's take more of this white. A little bit of that red. More white. Ooh. Let's do a little bit of yellow ochre. All right. Take this, sort of go around these bits here and there. Just little outlines here. Sort of emphasizing these areas slightly. Let's have some fun. Let's just kind of put a few little sparklers through here. Okay. Well, that's a lot of fun. And step back one more time. Some red. You know what I think I want to do? I think I want to make this petal bigger. Coming over that. I want to make another one behind this one like that. There. Then I'm going to kind of define these. Define the edges. And here, there's a little bit of confusion I want to clear up just slightly. Not too much. Not too much attention over here. But just a little bit. Separation. Little subtle things. Little things you notice. Let's get some of this yellow and just have some more fun here. Let's put in a few marks. Brighten up some of these leaves. Right here. A little bit of movement here. Let's go. And with a dark green. Kind of outline that one. Great. And with that, we're just about finished. It's looking very fun. I want to have a little bit more yellow and white here. A little bit of this there. Yellow ochre. I want to go over a few of these areas. Slightly different green. Make them pop a little bit more. Stand out. Great. Good, good, good. Now right through here, I want a little bit more red. I'm just going to do a light pink. Very, very light pink color. We're going to go over this base. I'm going to add a few different strokes here to communicate a little bit of direction. There we go. Kind of thinking about what this table would be doing, what perspective we're at here, where the lines would be going. And brings it kind of in the right direction. Kind of makes your eye think of this as more of a real space. Just a little bit of these. Now we can take the smallest bit of, a little bit of a lighter blue, and if we just make some lines here, we can communicate more this table. And some sideways strokes against this blue. Here and there. Nice. Some of this red color, we can outline some of these shadows just a little bit more. This bold red, like right here. And let's just be very bold. Just sort of twirl the brush around here a little bit to sort of give the idea, the sparkles that are happening because of the glass. There. A little bit brighter here and there. Okay. Liking this, I'm liking this. A lot of fun. This was a heck of a lot of fun, that's for sure. Let's do some more of this pink. Ooh, yummy. Look at all that pink. Just trying to look at this correctly and think about where the perspective would be. Okay, well, I think we just about have a finished painting. It was very, very fun to do this and very enjoyable experience. It's very different than what I normally do. Very, very different, but I really enjoyed it. And I think with that, we are done. And I will see you guys. No, yeah, almost done, almost done, almost done. Almost done, I promise, guys. Almost done. And I will see you next time. This was a lot of fun.